Hi, this is my video review of Tales of the Scarecrow. Tales of the Scarecrow is an adventure module for the Lamentations of the Flame Princess RPG, but it can also be used with other old-school type of games such as a Labyrinth Lord or Dungeon Crawl Classics. Just a warning, there are spoilers in this review. Well, let me talk about the quality of the PDF. It's a good PDF. It's actually quite short, and because of that it's pretty easy to navigate the pages, but it also has a virtual table of contents and the structure is pretty good. The illustrations are good. It's a pretty good PDF overall. Well, about this adventure feels more like an adventure slash trap site. It feels kind of like something to trick the characters into getting in and never coming out alive. So this module is actually quite difficult. It may result in a total party kill, but because of a couple of rewards in it, it's actually worth it to try to adventure into this mysterious place and get all the goodies. The plot line is this. Maybe your characters are coming back from an adventure or going to another adventure site, and they see on the side of the road this cabin in the middle of a cornfield, and maybe the characters will get curious and try to get into this cabin, but the cornfield is actually like a trick, a facade, some sort of camouflage hiding a horrible giant tentacled Lovecraftian horror living under the ground. So if the characters get into the cornfield, if they try to back away, this horror is going to attack them, and there is no way for the characters to defeat this very powerful monster. There's also a scarecrow in the middle of the cornfield, and if the characters try to interact with it, they are in for some nasty surprises. If they decide to enter the cabin, they're going to find some pretty gruesome discoveries. They're going to find corpses, a madman, and they will find a couple of magical items that are quite powerful, but just like with other Lamentations of the Flame Princess magical items, they are kind of cursed. They have a pretty heavy backlash or drawback every time you decide to use them. It's a sword and a spell book. And now the interesting thing about this module is that it doesn't give you a clear way to solve it. How are the characters going to get out of the cornfield? Because once they get inside, I'm telling you, the tentacles come from out of the ground and start attacking the characters, and they have no way to defeat the creature under the cornfield. So they have to figure out some other way to escape. And some of you may think, oh, maybe if you use some kind of fly spell or levitation spell, but the tentacles reach out pretty far, pretty high. So that's pretty much out of the question. They give you they hint at some solutions involving a musical instrument or maybe some other thing. You're going to get the player characters who have the most resources, and the players who decide to use those resources in the most intelligent way are the ones who are going to prevail over this adventure. But otherwise, they're going to starve. They're going to get trapped inside this cabin in the middle of the cornfield, and they're going to die because of starvation or maybe thirst. And even if they try to eat the corn or drink the water from that place, they are going to die because it's poison. Now, there's an interesting thing in this module. I think this is the most rewarding thing for the characters, but at the same time is the most ambiguous. If this module has a negative thing, it's this part that I'm going to talk about. There's a book that talks about scarecrows, and if the characters decide to read the book, they will enter a sort of test, a meta game test, in which they may end up hindering the party's progress or even causing a total party kill. But at the same time, if they survive this trial, they are going to get a lot of experience points, and I mean a lot of them, maybe go up a couple of levels because of it. And this is the most ambiguous part of the adventure, because they don't really give you stats for the scarecrow or how to use because the scarecrow is actually alive. It's like a dark entity, and it's going to attack the characters, but you don't get stats for the Scarecrow, and you only get a few of the mechanics involved in how the Scarecrow acts or attacks. So it's up to the referee or game master to see how the final encounter works out. But as I told you, if the characters succeed in this encounter, they're going one of them is going to get a lot of experience points. So what do I think about this module? Well, I think it's actually a pretty good module because it's pretty lethal, but the rewards are definitely worth it in my opinion. It's not as merciless as other sandbox kind of traps, like for example, a trap that comes in with the Death Frost Doom module. There's an encounter for a sandbox type campaign, and that has no reward whatsoever. It's basically just a big scam or trap or hoax to draw the characters in and kill them. But here in Tales of the Scarecrow, at least there are a few rewards, and there's actually a small chance to get out of this alive. So it's actually a pretty good module, but I wouldn't recommend it for episodic type campaigns in which you somewhat force the players to participate in a specific adventure, because should be like an optional thing, like something your characters see by the side of the road, and they decide to enter it or not, and that way it's their fault if they all perish inside or if they get the reward. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. See you later.